Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do your July the 8th, just for today, in a meditation. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com or leave a comment down below. And as soon as I see your comment, I promise you I will respond to you. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. Let me put a disclaimer out there. I am struggling to breathe today. I'm not sure what the issue is. So if it sounds like I'm taking a deep breath or you hear a moment of silence that we didn't plan, it's me just trying to gather my energy, okay? So here we go. The title of this meditation is the G word. It is important for you to know that you will hear God mentioned at NA meeting. What we are referring to is a power greater than ourselves that makes possible what seems impossible. That comes from our IP number 22. Welcome to NA. Most of us come to Narcotics Anonymous with a variety of preconceptions about what the word God means, many of them negative. Yet the G word is used very regularly in NA, if not constantly. It occurs 92 times in the first 103 pages of our basic text and appears prominently in a third of our 12 steps. Rather than sidestep the sensitivity many of us feel toward the word, let's address it head on. It's true that Narcotics Anonymous is a spiritual program. Our 12 steps offer a way to find freedom from addiction through the help of a spiritual power greater than we are. The program, however, doesn't tell us anything about what we have to think about that power. In fact, over and over again, in our literature, in our steps, in our meetings, we hear it said, the God of our understanding, whatever that understanding may be. We use the word God because it's used in our basic text and and because it communicates most effectively to most people a basic understanding of the power underlying our recovery. Let me reread that run-on sentence, okay, guys? It says, we use the word God because it's used in our basic text and because it communicates most effectively to most people a basic understanding of the power underlying our recovery. The word we use for the sake of convenience. The power behind the word, however, we use for more than convenience. We use that power to maintain our freedom from addiction and to ensure our ongoing recovery. Just for today, whether I believe in God or not, I will use the power that keeps me clean and free. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. The G word. I know what I think about it. That's not what's really important in this meditation. Because we know if we've been around the rooms long enough, we are going to hear the word God mentioned. For me personally, it's more of a title that represents the power that I personally believe in that has kept me free, that can make the impossible possible. That's for me. Also, it's mentioned some 92 times and only 103 pages. In our basic text. And it's mentioned in a third of our 12 steps. And a lot of people come to the program with this preconceived ideal that when we say it's a spiritual program and not a religious one, that they're not going to hear the word God. Pretty much all religions of the world have a God, right? With a small g, a God. Most people have a God. Most people know who or what their God, with a capital G, is. So I think that it's important that we not try to sidestep the word just because we're uncomfortable with it. There are many things we did that we were uncomfortable with. And I would dare to say that a lot of those things that we did do that we were uncomfortable with probably had a lot to do with our understanding, whether it was good or bad, right? Of, in our eyes, right? Whether it was good or bad in our eyes, our understanding of God. If I'm acting in a manner that is not reflective of love for others and for myself, 9 times out of 10, there is something skewed about my perception of what love is. It's almost a given. If I am beating a child, let's say a child, right? Or a man is beating a woman, or it could be a woman beating a man, right? So just let's say I'm beating a child, but then when I'm done beating that same child, as it soothes its bruises, I'm telling that child, you know I love you. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't love you. I had to let you know that that's not what we do. I had to discipline you. Okay? Discipline and beating is two different things, right? So I'm talking about beating. That child more than likely is going to grow up with this ideal that, oh, if you love me that much, please don't love me. And it's possible that that child will also demonstrate the same behavior. This is what love looks like. It's abusive, but it's still love. That's not love. Now, what skewed the understanding, the outcome or the actions of it is a human being, a person that also lacked real understanding of what love is, right? So for me, I believe that people are oftentimes responsible for the negative point of view that other people have about love, right? People are, generally speaking, responsible for most of what other people perceive as an issue with a God or God, or even using the term God. They saw someone or some people that claimed to know God, but acted in a certain manner. And that manner that they acted in was not loving or caring. It was judgmental and harmful. And so now, when people think of God, they think of those behaviors and they are repelled. Okay, that works as far as why you are where you are or were, but it does not work in a spiritual program that gives you the tools to redefine things so that they do work for you. Things do work for you. So that power is something that you can now relate to instead of being dismissive of it. That's why we need to approach the conversation with care when we're dealing with other people in the program, because we don't know where a person is or is not. And if you had to take account of all of the religions that people are attached to, there would be too many to count. There would be a lot to count. So to assume that we would know, oh, this was written in the United States of America, so this must be when they mention God, they must be talking about Jesus Christ, because that was known as a Christian nation. That is a crazy assumption. That is a huge assumption. Maybe one that makes sense to you, but that's not the case. Because I highly doubt that the authors, the ones that wrote this, you would be able to say, oh, they're all Christian. I doubt that. I doubt that. And the way the approval goes for the literature, it passes through the hands of many addicts. So when we say here that it's for convenience, that term is used for convenience, I would have to say that that is probably the most accurate understanding or explanation I have ever heard about the use of the word God. And even in the convenience of it, you're not going to be able to get away from figuring out who or what is the God of your understanding, your own understanding. You're still going to need to do that work. And maybe after all of the work, you walk away, I don't have a God. I'm atheist, I'm agnostic, I'm whatever it is. The only requirement for membership is that you have a desire to stop using. Your understanding or lack of it, or none of that is going to make you less of a member of Narcotics Anonymous if you have a desire to stop using. It may mean that you have to negotiate some of the spiritual principles, some of the steps. You may have to adjust them in some kind of way that wasn't the intention, but could still give you good results if you're willing to do that. If you're willing to do that. Because it's been my experience that people that cannot handle the G word, that they have some sort of church hurt or some religious hurt that prevents them from embracing that. And then I have found that many of them do go on to actually do the work of the steps, but quite a few of them never do. because there's that resistance. Like they hang out around the edges of the program. They don't get into the program. They hang out around the edges because that's fun. Excuse me. So they hang around the edges because that's fun. But when it comes down to doing the work, then there's not that willingness. But if hanging around the edges is enough to still keep you clean and you don't want to ever use the G word or even approach it, if that works for you, then keep doing that. No one's going to put you out of NA because you don't want to use the G word. That's not going to happen. Okay, family, I think we have covered that very well. And I am going to close this podcast with this. Just for today, I need you to have a great day on purpose. And I know you can do it. And I intend to. I will be talking to you tomorrow.